Hello, my name is Bessa Junis, and today, for this episode, I'm going to be interviewing some very special guests. Just for today, we managed to suspend the space-time continuum so I could talk to some very old figures in history. These guests were in their time American politicians, and I will be asking them some questions to learn more about how the political parties have evolved since their time. Now, it's my turn to introduce these unique guests. So, to begin today, please introduce yourself to the audience and give us a brief outline of your political alliances.
Hi, I'm Alexander Hamilton, leader of the Federalist Party. My party and I strongly support a united national government, a centralized banking system, and having close ties to our mother country, Britain.
And I'm Thomas Jefferson. I'm the leader of the other political party, the Democratic Republicans. Unlike others, Hamilton, I actually believe in the individual rights of the American people. Therefore, I want a self-dependent country that focuses mostly on agriculture and farming. Well, it sounds like you two are very passionate about your beliefs. Can you elaborate more on your plans and what your long-time goals for this country is? Well, for the Democratic Republicans, we saw what an all-powerful government does in places like France. It creates a bloody revolution with no end in sight. We want a nation ruled by the people for the people, and we believe that a small agrarian country focused on states' rights and farming is what will help us accomplish this. If we want to be completely safe from the negative influences like European industrialization and a powerful central government that terrorizes the nation, then we need laws that increase states' rights and decrease the chance that a president could single-handedly destroy our entire country, just like they did in France.
For the Federalists, we saw the weakness of the Articles of Confederation and how they made America into a laughingstock. We vowed to never make that same mistake twice, so we began to support a strong central government, one that can levy taxes and have power over the states. Without one, the national government would have no way to create revenue, and since the country would be so divided, we would have no central unity and would end up splitting over state loyalties. Federalism is the only way to keep America safe and help us become one of the most powerful trading countries in the world. Unlike Mr. Little House on the prairie over here, we want to make America the greatest it can be.
Wait, how would you know about Little House on the Prairie? It was written in the 1930s.
Well,
Moving on, could you tell us a little bit more about your own political environment, especially how... No. Okay, moving on, could you tell me a little bit more about your current political environment, especially how the political parties' divisions affect the government and the citizens themselves?
our policies certainly divide us government officials in political sense, but in a personal sense, I think we all feel more loyal to our country than our specific political party. After all, even though we use different techniques, we are all fighting for the same thing, to make America the very best country it can be.
I actually agree, Hamilton. And as for the people, I believe they vote for whichever candidate they agree with, no matter their own political party. For example, if a white landowning man wanted to vote for a Republican, even though he was a Federalist, that would be relatively commonplace. People now have much more loyalty to their own personal political beliefs than their parties. Why? Thank you both for answering my questions. It has been a really eye-opening experience to hear more about the political climate in the 1700s firsthand. Unfortunately, however, I think our interview has come to a close because that's all the time we have for today. I really had a nice time working with you two, and I hope you can come back for a follow-up episode.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
I hate you. Anyways, thank you for having me too. I hope you have a great night. Bye. Well, thank you very much. Now we have another two very, very important guests tonight. Our team managed to convince two people who are totally not busy and totally not running for the next presidential election to come to the Garfield Elementary School Park and talk to us today. So it is my great pleasure to introduce you to two of the biggest political figures, President Donald Trump and Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Hello. Turn down the lights, please. I'm very
the
glad to
sun.
be here.
It's the sun.
Turn it down, old man. By that I mean your voice. I think it's safe to assume that our audience already knows you, so I'm going to skip the introduction and go straight to the big questions. Today's show is to see how your answers compare to Jefferson and Hamilton's, so we can see how the political parties have changed over time. So I'm just going to ask you the same question that I gave them and see how your answers compare. So now the first question again. Can you elaborate more on your plans for the country and what your party's long-term goals for the nation are as well?
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you. Free healthcare for all. Well, I'm running as Democrat in this presidential election, although I am more of an independent. I want to reform America's healthcare system and make sure everyone has free and steady access to life-saving care, while also making college free with the help of high business taxes so our students are not held back by hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. I want to fix the economic inequality that is so prevalent in our country and make it so every citizen has the same right to a safe and secure job at home.
Oh, sure, old man. What you really want is a socialist nation where people have crazy high taxes and a bad economy. With me, I'll get the economy booming and create thousands and thousands of jobs. Oh, wait, I already have. I'll cut taxes, keep the big businesses thriving, and make sure we build a wall to help secure our borders. I'll also increase military spending and further our sixth branch, the new Space Force. I want to make America great again and protect it from radical Democrats like Old Man Sanders and Pocahontas Warren, so we can beat any other country in military spending and tax breaks. Well, those are certainly two very different plans for our country. Could you please elaborate more on what outside factors help influence your party's policies? I'll take this one, Grandpa. Our want for a self-sufficient America overshadows a lot of my party's policies. For example, we want to decrease overseas production, keep American business in America with American workers. We want no foreign influence anywhere. We also want to build a wall and strike down on illegal immigration so we can keep our country safe from people who may want to hurt her. And of course, you can't forget the main point. Our party's main purpose is to defeat the Democrats and keep control of the government. Really, that's a driving point of many of our policies.
Well, you won't beat us. I believe the only way to truly rebuild the nation would to be helping everyone in America, including the poor and the less fortunate. While the Democratic Party and I disagree on some policies, we all agree that we are fighting for the rights of the people. The least important reason, though, one that certainly does not dictate a majority of our decisions, is to beat the Republicans. We moderate our policy to appeal more to the centrist voters so they will choose us over the Republicans. While some, like myself, don't moderate ourselves for the other side, most of our political party is just meant to control ourselves for the voters of America.
Why, thank you for your honesty. Your policies, while the norm for today, seem like they differ greatly from those of Jefferson and Hamilton. Can you maybe give me some reasons for these differences?
Well, in those times, they were fighting over whether or not to become an industrialized world power. But today, as I think is safe to assume, we already are one. So now our politics are focused more on how to deal with being so powerful while at the same time keeping our citizens happy with things like healthcare, college education, and of course, taxes. And of course, people now are much more involved in politics. They can see everything that happens and everything we say at a simple tap of their phone. This both a blessing and a curse, as it makes advertising for a campaign much easier, but also means you have to be so careful over everything you say on social media because, after all, nothing can be deleted, Mr. Trump.
Oh, shut up, you socialist. Anyways, I think another reason why parties have changed since the old days is because of the increasing divide between them. Back then, the Federalist Republicans and their supporters were still civil to each other and could work together in Congress. They had loyalty together as Americans. They were a brand new country, still fresh from England's control, and they had to band together to keep the nation safe while increasing its power and standard of living. Now, though, people have less loyalty to the country as a whole and more to the divisions in the country, like their political parties. Now, whichever party a person supports, whoever the nominate they vote for. Whichever policy the party supports, the person supports it. And in Congress, the people have to vote for what the party wants, or else they will get politically blacklisted and won't get reelected. Of course, I'm very grateful for this, but it definitely has changed since the 1700s. What you're saying is that back in the 1700s, the people fought over the future of the country, but still had a broader reaching sense of camaraderie as Americans, but now because of technology and increasing tensions between groups, people are now loyal more to their political parties than the country as a whole?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I totally disagree with you. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. That certainly answers all the questions that I had for today. Again, thank you, too, for coming out here on such short notice. President Trump, I know that you had a very important golf tournament this weekend. And Bernie, I know that you actually are running for president. So thank you, too, for coming out here to this wonderful park in Livonia and letting me more on political parties in America and how they changed over time.
Thank you for having me. Very honored. I gotta go.
Yes, thank you for having me. I had such a great time. President,